So, karibuni sana. We are so many, 21, and I know more are still coming in. So I don't want to say more. It's already 11 minutes past. Mr. Kahihu, we want to give the floor to you. Karibu sana. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mugo. If you may kindly give me rights to share my screen. But ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it's good to be together, albeit virtually. I understand some of us are calling in from within the Nairobi metropolitan. Others I hear are calling and listening in from across the ocean. So we are all welcome, and really look forward to a great conversation. I understand we don't have so much time. I think I'll take about 30 minutes, and then within that time we'll be engaging with some question and answers. Okay, good. So on top of the screen, there's an instruction which I want to request the 28 of us, 29 of us, go to any of your browsers, type www.menti.com. It may want to bring you Mentimeter. Don't pick Mentimeter, just pick menti.com. Then when it asks you for a code, the code that you'll enter is 25554. Then submit. And then we will be able to run through just a few questions. The first question, and good to see some people are already there. Good evening, what's on your mind? So this is just a quick one to help us set up for the conversation. So at the bottom right, it gives us a counter of the number of people who've responded. And so only one happy person has responded. So waiting to see the others, the other inputs come in. Apparently this will be quite quick. And so if we can do this maybe in the next 30 or so seconds, that would be great, so that we can move on to the next session. And Matthew, are you able to, you can see the screen and what's coming up on the screen?
Yes.
Kindly read, help us hear what's in people's mind today.
Oh, inspiration, enthusiastic, growing, happy.
Okay, those are 4 people.
Oh, this is live. Okay, great.
Yes, this is live. This is live.
Wow.
Live feedback. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Growing.
So an inspiration, when you see our word getting to the center and increasing in size, that means many people have voted for that word. So that word becomes big and gets to the center.
Okay. There's focus. Okay, inspiration is the biggest.
Yeah. So 9 people have responded. Someone I see is
learning mode.
On the learning mode. That's the way to go. The topic today is do not hesitate. Take charge of your life. So that places us on a learning mode.
Sure.
9 people. When we hit 15 people, we will move on to the next slide.
Growing, ready to hear.
Ready to hear. That's good. Thanks.
Enthusiasm.
Good. At 12 people, we hit 3. See, we have 31 participants. If we hit at least the 50% mark at 16 people, we should be able to move on.
Yeah, sure. Okay, down. There's somebody who has written down.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it appears someone might be a bit low under the weather this evening, and our prayers are with everyone, because this new normal is not easy. It's a big challenge for many people.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so at 13 people, 14. So maybe one more to reach 16. Then we'll move on. I hope most of the other people are not having challenges, or sometimes it could be a challenge of someone using the same gadget for both, and that might be, I suspect, maybe that could be a challenge.
Okay. Yeah, we already have 17. I have seen love and something else. I don't know, energetic.
Okay.
So, victory.
Yeah, thank you. I think now we can move on. If you check on your gadgets, it's going to change the screen, and the next screen is just helping us understand who our participants are by age group. And this is extremely critical because it helps me and Mugo to know who it is that we are interacting with this evening. Now that we can't see, we can't meet face to face.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very helpful. So it appears maybe you can unmute Mundia John, and have him help us see. Tell us, Mundia, what are you seeing in terms of the demographics of the persons in the call today?
I can, having interacted with the group with these sessions for the past few days, I believe most of us, a section of us are not youths, and I've also seen a couple of youths here and there. So maybe these are below people who are below 40 years.
Yeah, from what we can see is there's one response of not yet 20. We have about 6 who are between 20 and 30. The majority seem to be, I think, as Mundia you're saying, 31 to 40. But we have one person who is above 40, and that's not me. I've not voted.
Wow, this is
Although
amazing.
I am. Okay, good. So 19 participants. I think that's that's representative of the group, and I think that helps us know how to then. I see two people above 40. The above 40s are starting to.
They are coming up.
They're coming up. They're starting to realize, after all, it's a blessing.
Wow.
Okay, so the next one is the topic today is it's about hesitation. What is the one thing that you have always wanted to do in your life, yet you keep pushing it forward? What is this one thing that you have always wanted to do, yet you keep pushing it forward? Just one thing. So maybe Matthew, you can proceed and just help us see some of the things that our participants have been hesitating to start.
There is writing, they start a business, meeting clients, going back to college to pursue IT course, exercise, investment, prosper, follow my purpose, consultancy full-time, starting up a business as a side hustle, another starting a business, write a second book. Okay, hey, they are becoming more consultancy full-time, save, following my purpose, buying a car. Wow.
Okay, no, this looks interesting, very interesting.
Very.
Yeah, and I think with this, that's why we are saying, do not hesitate, my sister, my brother, do not hesitate, take charge. So I think some of the ones that seem to be really coming up are things about investments.
Yes.
Saying something about meeting clients, so that could still be something around investment, becoming a counseling psychologist, starting a real estate business. And I think part of the conversation this evening is going to be what is it that then is holding you from? And I'm also in the fray. I've also found myself hesitating and in many occasions, and I've not pushed myself hard enough. I've not pushed myself to starting off some things. And I think this seems to be highly indicative of what it is that we all sometimes go through. So thank you. And the next question, quite related, is having had to push most of those things, and what are some of the reasons why you have hesitated taking some steps towards a decision or action? In the background, you can see there is that individual who apparently would either want to, either move on or do something. So what are some of the, why have you hesitated? Mugo, why have some of our participants hesitated? I'm seeing some interesting responses. And just for people to know, these responses are anonymous. Anonymous. So this is you and the computer.
Mm-hmm. So, are you already sharing them? Oh, sorry.
Yes, please.
Have the
If you can you
oh,
read
yeah,
them?
yeah. My wife, oh my. Employment, fear of unknown, fear of engaging, lack of knowledge of appropriate business, running out of ideas every time I do my pieces, lack of knowledge, fear of failure, fear of losing, laziness, and sometimes of insufficiency, employment. Wow.
Yeah, maybe you could unmute Jesse. Unfortunately, I'm not able to see everyone. Maybe you can unmute Bridget. Bridget Wanyaga. Bridget,
Bridget,
out of the
unmute yourself.
Yes, out of the main reasons that you're seeing here, which ones seem to be jumping off as the main reasons why most of us hesitate from taking some steps towards a decision or action? Bridget,
fear,
please.
If I could say, fear is really popping up a lot. It is appearing 4 times. If I can take a quick scan, yes, 4 times. 4 times. I think the others are also linked to fear in some kind of way, because lack of knowledge. I think that's just belief that you don't have knowledge. Lack of knowledge of appropriate, yes, running out of ideas every time I do my pieces, laziness, and sometimes feelings of insufficiency. I think I would say fear, and even the rest have a connection to fear as well.
Yeah, true, and thanks so much.
Welcome.
The last one was so this one we won't get into that now. We'll get into it later when we are done, because we'll still use this platform to be able to collect some more information. This is a platform that we'll use to also get your questions at the end of this presentation. And so allow me to now shift to a PowerPoint. Tell me whether Mugo, whether you can see what I'm sharing.
Yes, yeah.
I want to share a PowerPoint. You can see the slides. Eh?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mundia, Mundia had responded. I'm trying to see whether I can pick a few other people. I'm seeing Bani Simato. What comes to your mind when you look at the picture on the screen? Bani Simato, I think you can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry I've joined late.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah, I can see on the screen, why is it take control? Actually, what comes to my mind is like I'm seeing somebody waiting to receive the boy.
Yes.
And it's like the boy has got some fears.
Okay.
So
why do you imagine the boy has some
what
fears?
comes to my mind as to why I'm seeing, let me call it the Fed. I think the boy has got some fears. And that's why the respondent earlier told us, like, the reasons can be fear of losing or fear of failure. Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much. And so on this picture, the topic is why hesitate? Take charge of your life. We're saying we want to assume that these are parents or grandparents or guardians, and there is this boy who left home with a big dream, and the dream possibly was to be the best swimmer. He dressed for the outing today. He got resourced, and so for the boy, he actually has the resources, as you can see. The T-shirt that the boy is wearing is natural born swimmer or something. And so it appears like the parents had really prepared this boy for what they want him to do. He has his goggles, and so helping him to manage some of the fears. As we all know, many people, I don't know, maybe out of the people who are listening to me today, I don't know how many of you, when you're swimming, how many of you close your eyes when you're inside the water. I'm sure many of you close your eyes when real swimming. You're actually supposed to, to interact with the environment down there. And so the boy, there is someone on the other side who is willing to receive it. But when he has come so close to touching the water, about 1.5 feet for him to hit the water, the boy decides not to. And this seems to, for me, to be partly what may have inspired the team to think about this topic, about hesitating. And out of this, we can see that the biggest thing seems to be fear, fear of the unknown, as much as from deep from within. I'm sure most likely this boy may have been the first one to get into the car when he was told, let's go to the swimming pool. But when the reality hits and it is his day to shine, it is his day to perform, he just finds that he can't garner strength from within himself to do that which he truly believes is his day, is his destiny, is the right thing to do. And so in life we have the dream, and all of us have dreams. We have big dreams, we have big ambitions, huge belief in who we are, and big belief in what we all can become. We know that we are wonderfully made. We know that we are highly resourced by God. But for us to attain our goals, the reality in life is that we must make decisions. We must lift a leg. We must lift a leg and crawl and walk and run, at least move. And we know that the best decisions are not just decisions in the mind, but they're decisions that are actualized, decisions that you decide that you're moving from feeling within yourself that you can be the best singer, you can be the best artist, you can be the best real estate agent, you can be the best manager, you can work for the biggest multinational company. We just have to move. We just must lift a leg and move. We may recall the late Miles Munro at some point when he said that the richest places in the globe, the richest places in every country, the richest places in every county, in every nation, is a graveyard, because at the graveyard you have the best songs that were never written, the best poems that were never recited, the best buildings that were never designed, and the best clothing lines that were never initiated. And so we must make decisions by lifting a leg. And someone said, at least move. You must not run. You could decide to crawl or walk, or if possible, run. But we all worry about the outcome of our decisions. What if the boy is wondering within himself, what if I jump into the water? And by the way, I even wonder whether the boy knows what drowning is, because I don't think he has had that experience, but he just doesn't know how will my life be being inside the water, and sometimes not being in control over my environment, not being in control over how I breathe, not being in control over how I walk, because this is a totally new environment. So we all worry about the outcomes of our decisions, and therefore we hesitate. And at this time, we think what will happen. We analyze, we decide, we look at risks, we think about all possible assumptions. What if it doesn't work? What if I'm not strong enough? What if I can't pull it through? What if I'm embarrassed? What if I don't pronounce some of the words correctly? What if the sound just refuses to come off my mouth when I'm given the microphone? What if I just go to the to the front of the room to make this presentation and things just don't work out? And so we analyze, we overanalyze, and with that we freeze. That freezing is the state where many people are, and for sure many people are going through life frozen, knowing what is within them, knowing what it is that they should be doing, but still finding themselves not able to do. So going by what has come up in the previous engagement on Mentimeter, these are some of the things that seem to be coming up, and we are saying, do not fuel here. This is a fueling station where many people are queuing. Many people are spending nights and days here, fueling at the hesitation station, overanalyzing situations, fear of the outcomes, and low self-esteem. Towards the end, we'll still come back to this. So the underlying factor of hesitation is the fear of the outcome. This is the what if it goes wrong, and many young people will be asking themselves, what if it just doesn't work? If I move out of my parents' home? And it's a big struggle. We know of many young people who have all that it takes to move out and start a life on their own, but they do not know how life will be like on their own, having to cook for themselves, having to do just everything for themselves, and it's not that they don't cook where they are at the parents' home. They still do all these chores, but the imagination that now there's nobody else who will be responsible other than you. Sometimes it makes people to really hesitate. Applying for a job in company XYZ, you have this big dream of working in this big company in town, this big company across the oceans, this big company in Europe, in Asia, in the US, in Africa. But sometimes you keep asking yourself, what if I apply and I don't get a response? And this is part of what we truly are addressing today. And therefore, you realize that many people lose jobs that they never found, that they never got recruited for in the first place. And so you lose before, you lose the trophy before you have it on your hands. And of course, we know, and we've heard of many people who really struggle with this whole aspect of proposing for marriage. You feel this is the right time, you're in the right place, the right space, and you know for sure that this is the right time for you to propose to a lady for marriage. Or even for ladies, sometimes you have someone who comes and proposes to you, and you know for sure this is the right person. I've interacted with the person, I know the person, have faith and confidence in this person. But just because the proposal has come, now you find yourself not being able to know what to do. And many times people hesitate through prayer, where you say, let me pray about it for a week, for 2 weeks, for 1 month. And at the back of your mind, you actually keep wondering. And at the back, at the heart of your heart, you're not even praying about it. The moment the proposal came, that was the answer to the prayer. But you still find yourself having to hesitate. And then the frustration comes at some point when the guy decides I won't wait anymore and decides to move on. And so we really struggle because we really fear the outcome of some of our decisions. Taking a mortgage, there are lots of opportunities for us to take mortgages, and in some of the cases you'll actually find the possibility of spending as much on a mortgage as you spend on rent. But then someone will keep asking themselves, what if I then lose my job and I'm not able to service my mortgage? Yet the same person fails to ask themselves, if I lose my job, I will still be paying rent, and God will provide. I will still find ways of getting these resources. And so someone decides to not take a mortgage just because I don't know if next year, the other year, the year after, I'll still be holding on to this job. And the reality is that many people, including ourselves, we've been on contracts, annual contracts for many years. I left college. I left college in 1995. I was in Moi University and started working, just short contracts after that. And of course, I did 2 years with Focus, which for me was a great opportunity. But starting off with my work life, I was starting off with 6 months, 1 year, and with all this, you get to realize that this is the new normal. And so If someone says that I won't take a mortgage because I'm on an annual contract, that's now been many, many years on annual contracts, yet life moves on, and that fear has not come, has not come true. For sure, there are times when I would have gaps between one job and another, when a contract ends, when a project ends, but God still provides, and you still find your way in moving on with life. And the other one that I had indicated here is a number of you feeling like you want to be more competitive at the workplace. And for you to be more competitive, you want to start a master's program or you want to start a PhD program. But then the main question again is, what if? What if I don't conclude? What if I don't get resources? What if the supervisor? What if the university? What if? And you get to realize some of the people who took their decisions and moved on are graduating, are getting better prospects, are becoming better consultants, are having better profiles. Yet when we hesitate, we lose on all these opportunities. I'm going to dwell just a bit on this big fear, because many people actually would not know that sometimes the fear of failure, you feel like you don't want to get into this because you may fail. There's actually a psychological it's actually a psychological condition for some people. It's called kakoraphiaphobia. Kakoraphiaphobia is an abnormal and irrational fear of failure. In clinical cases, because there are times when it actually becomes a big clinical case, it is deliberating. It freezes. It makes somebody just unable to move. The fear of even the least of failures or defeat restricts a person from making any decisions. And so we may at some point want to ask ourselves, this fear of failure, how, what's the level of grip that it has had on me? Because many times we hesitate because we do not know what will happen. What if I jump into the water and I'm unable to swim? And so someone never gets into the water. What if I get into this marathon and I can't finish? I can't even, it's a 21-kilometer half marathon and I can't even do the fast 5, or it's a 10-kilometer road race and I can't do the fast kilometer. What if? And so the fear of failure has made many people unable to push themselves. So coming to a close, this should actually be the last slide, and then we'll open up the conversation. How do you move beyond hesitation? Because we know what is right to do, but we still find ourselves not doing it. How do we push ourselves? How do we self-inspire ourselves? How do we give ourselves some internal challenge to start doing something? As much as the goal might be running, how do I push myself at least to start crawling and then start walking towards the goal of running? Find space and retreat to engage with yourself. And you can see the word yourself. I've split it deliberately. Yourself means the self that is yours. We go through life and many times we are in many meetings and long meetings, yet we fail to find time with ourselves, failing to find time to retreat, moving away from everyone else, to confront ourselves with these questions, asking ourselves the hard questions. Why do I hesitate taking the step I know is good? Honestly, it's now 2 years, it's now 3 years. I had said I'll start on my master's, I'll start on my PhD, I'll start on, I will move out of my parents' residence. I will, whatever decision it is, I will send an application to Coca-Cola. I will send an application to whichever company it is that you dream of working for. Why do I hesitate? So asking yourself some of those questions. And with this, you will ask yourself, so what if I make a mistake? Will the earth crumble? There are many people have made mistakes. Many people have made mistakes. And I would want to quickly jump into the last, if you look at the last bullet, what I'm saying is occasionally holding what is called a failure festival. A failure festival is a festival of failure. It's an opportunity for you to look back and celebrate some of the failures that you have witnessed in your life, because out of those failures, you are able to learn. You are able to learn 101 ways in which some things don't work. You're able to learn, spaces that you are not wired for. You're able to learn things that just do not, and maybe are never meant for you. And so when you call yourself into a failure festival, and that's the retreat I'm talking about, you're starting to celebrate the lessons, not seeing failure as the end of the world, not seeing failure as something that impacts on your esteem. The fact that you are requested to go and make a presentation before your bosses and things just didn't work, that should not necessarily negatively impact on your esteem, because if that happens, then given another opportunity, you will hesitate from doing it. But then looking back and saying, I had that opportunity. What went wrong? Why did it not work? What will I do differently the next time? And that celebration and finding value out of failure. Relax and take a deep breath. Set goals and share with a friend for accountability. That's an extremely, it's an extremely important point. It's an extremely important step for all of us. When you look at reasons why people hesitate from making or taking some decisions, part of the reasons is because they do not have accountabilities. They do not have people who know some of the decisions that they had hoped to take. But the moment you set your goals, make those goals smart, make them very specific, make them measurable. We talk a lot about it, and sometimes it appears very theoretical, but it is very true. Make it measurable and make it practical. Make it practical and have some time bound around it. I want to share with you an example of a run. This morning I did a 27-kilometer run. At the beginning of the year, my goal is to do 200 kilometers every month. That's like running 5 marathons every month. But for me to be able to do the 200 kilometers per month on a minimum, every day, every alternate day, I have to do about 15, an average of around 15 or to 18, 18K. That eventually adds up, and we are in a group of other joggers, and every time when you do the jogging, you come back, you send your route to the guys and tell them this is what I was able to accomplish. You spur each other up, and you let people know this is my goal, and people let you know this is the goal. And by having those forms of accountability, it really pushes you to actually delivering on your result. The loop that I did today has, at some point between the 10th and 12th kilometer, has a very steep hill, and on this steep hill towards Kiambu, many times I have always decided that I won't use that loop, just because between the 10th and 12th kilometer, I know it's going to be a very big challenge. But then eventually I told myself, why hesitate? Take charge. And I hit the road this morning. By 6, I was out of the house. And when I got to this pace, now the hardest part of the race, of the run, what I decided to do is, you look at this elevated 2 kilometers and you break it into posts, these electric poles. And I say, let me first run, not the entire 2 kilometers. Let me run the four poles. And so you run looking at the pole. When you hit the fourth pole, you say, now let me do 5. And by the time you get to notice, you just look back and you say, that big hill that I had always feared is truly behind me. When we hesitate, we fail to lift a leg, we fail to rise, and we fail to make a decision. At this point, I would want to bring the meeting back to Mugo for his moderation. But I would want to, I don't know, Mugo, whether you'd want us to I had the Mentimeter slide where we could be able to pick some of the questions, especially if there are some anonymous questions. But I think you may just use your discretion, and if some of the participants may want to just unmute and ask, I think that's okay with me. Thank you so much, and over to you, Matthew.